Hi, and welcome to This Week in East Brunswick, the township's own news and information program. Today we'll visit the schools, first to see how Lawrence Brook school children spend field day, then to look in on a Shakespeare festival at Hammersholt School. We'll have township information on the arts from Dolly and on the odd-even watering system from Michael Opaleski. Our regular features will include money tips from Paul Hansen on disability insurance alternatives, quick clicks with photographic advice from Bob Nemser, Health Facts this week with information about diabetes from Dr. Stephen Schneider, Consumer Aware featuring car rental tips from Consumer Affairs Director Adrian Eisner, plus our Township Council review. Stay tuned. Next week on Channel 8 begins Monday at 10 a.m. with exercises from Lenore Kulik on Look Great, Feel Great, followed at 10:30 by Target with host Paula Duran. Tuesday evening at 7:30, Ken Chalhoub investigates substance abuse in the workplace on Let's Talk Health. Followed at 8 by You and Your Money with Paul Hansen, his topic, penny stocks. Then Wednesday at 7:30, Spotlight on Education will feature songs from East Brunswick High School's choral groups. And we'll be back next Thursday at 7 and 8 with more local news and information on This Week in East Brunswick. Check the Channel 8 program guide for repeats on all these programs. Each year, as the weather starts getting warmer and kids start to think about spending time outdoors, the schools start to think about field days, an annual tradition in the township which gives kids a chance to participate in lots of outdoor activities during school hours. Tuesday morning, we visited Lawrence Brook Elementary School for the beginning of their field day, which was coordinated by the school's physical education instructor, Art McEnany.
And actually what we have out here are a number of different activities for the children. We have a flip-flop schedule in that our primary grades 1, 2, and 3 are out here in the morning session, and they're engaged in activities such as volleyball and t-ball, wiffle ball, kickball, and tug-of-war. This session will last until about 11:30, a quarter to 12. The entire building at 12 o'clock, grades 1 through 6, will break for lunch, and it will be a picnic atmosphere. The lunch is provided by our PTA, and I may take note at this time to thank them in appreciation for providing that lunch. In the afternoon, the upper grades will be out here, and they'll be conducting involved in the same activities as our primary grades are right now. What the upper grades do in the morning session, they're meeting now in the all-purpose room, and they're viewing a Walt Disney movie, and that's what the primary grades will be doing in their afternoon session.
Let's watch some of these young athletes in action. Now let's join Mike Opaleski for information on the township's odd-even watering system.
Hello, I'm Mr. Michael J. Opaleski, Acting Director of Public Works and Water Resources. And I'm here to remind you that we have a watering odd-even system in effect between the months of May and September. The reason this odd-even system is in place is to allow you to utilize all the water that you need, but still allow the water utility to manage this very valuable resource. We are requesting a compliance with the odd-even system to ensure that you have available water for all the needs that you would request during the coming summer months. As a warning, we are issuing summonses and warnings to individuals that are not complying by the odd-even system. If you have any questions concerning the odd-even watering system, please call the water treatment plant at 390-6793 or my office at 390-6886. Thank you.
Hammersholt School was the scene of a Shakespeare festival Wednesday. Teacher Barbara Fodor explains.
Well, what you're seeing is really the culmination of 5 weeks of work for the students as a part of their Romeo and Juliet unit. The students contracted to do a project. Now, some of them were written reports. We did research for those. Some of the kids who are more artistic worked with models of the globe. Some of the kids worked on things like making tavern signs and the guild signs. And some of the kids also made Elizabethan food. some of the dancers tried to show a comparison between Romeo and Juliet and West Side Story, which is based on Romeo and Juliet. And actually what you're seeing is the work that they did on their own outside of class altogether. And we're just presenting it for the rest of the ninth graders to see.
Now let's join Paul Hansen for today's Money Tip.
I'm Paul Hansen with this week's Money Tip. Are you really covered for long-term disability under your company's disability insurance plan? Most people would answer yes, but strangely enough, you may not be. Most companies' group disability plans agree to replace your salary in the event of disability, either through sickness or accident, after some waiting period, typically 60 days. And in fact, they promise to pay you a salary until you're age 65. What's wrong with that? Check the definition of disability. Generally, it will read something to the effect that for the first 2 years of disability, to receive any income, you would have to be unable to perform the duties of your previous occupation. After 2 years of receiving disability income, the definition changes to read, you must be unemployable in any occupation, something that is sometimes referred to as the Social Security definition of disability. In fact, Social Security has been denying approximately 75% of the claims for disability. What can you do to protect yourself against long-term disability of your previous occupation? You can purchase what is called a group wraparound disability policy. This policy does not replace or give you double coverage of your disability insurance at work, but integrates with your existing group plan, using what is good about it and supplementing primarily by extending the more general definition of disability until you're age 65. The main advantage of supplement of your group insurance in this manner is economy of your dollars for the benefit which you would receive. This is a very inexpensive plan. There's no one better able to manage your money than you. Make the wise decision. This is Paul Hansen, host of You and Your Money, with this week's Money Tip.
Hi, I'm Dolly Vassar for This Week in East Brunswick with an arts update for an evening of sheer entertainment. Don't miss the Princeton Ballet coming right here to Playhouse 22, June 17th and 18th, curtain times 8 o'clock p.m. 2 new works will be featured. The Moors Pavane by Jose Lemay and Basics based on the Olympics by Dermot Burke. There will be special rates on Friday night for students and senior citizens, and on Saturday night, a champagne gala will follow the performance with the dancers as guests of honor. Because of limited seating at the Playhouse and because we already have quite a number of advance reservations, call as soon as you can 390-6825. That's right, 390-6825, and ask for Dolly. I'll be glad to fill your orders. And by the way, while we're on the subject of entertainment, on Sunday night, June 29th, at the gazebo on the Civic Center grounds are the Manhattan Singers. That's right, at 7 o'clock on the municipal grounds at the gazebo, the Manhattan Singers doing an evening of Jerome Kern. It's absolutely free, so gather up your friends and family, bring your lawn chairs and blankets, and have yourselves a ball. I'll see you at both events. In the meantime, take care.
And now for health facts and information about diabetes with Dr. Stephen Schneider, Associate Professor of Medicine at the University of Medicine and Dentistry of New Jersey and a resident of East Brunswick.
Diabetes mellitus is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. Compared to the general population, diabetics are more than twice as likely to develop coronary disease, 5 times as likely to require an amputation of the foot or leg, and 20 times more prone to blindness and kidney failure. The name diabetes mellitus refers to a group of diseases all characterized by an elevation of sugar or glucose levels in the blood. Modest elevations cause few symptoms, but at higher levels, glucose begins to escape through the kidneys, drawing fluid and nutrients along with it. This causes the classical symptoms of frequent urination, thirst, weight loss, increased appetite, and leg cramps. As glucose penetrates the eye and the nerves, blurred vision and numbness and tingling of the feet often occur. There are 2 major types of diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, formerly called insulin-dependent or juvenile onset, occurs in about 10% of cases, generally in young, thin people. It is weakly inherited, and an individual has less than a 1 in 20 chance of developing diabetes if a parent or sibling has the disease. The cause of type 1 diabetes is a complete lack of insulin, a pancreatic hormone which controls sugar metabolism. All individuals with type 1 diabetes must be treated with insulin for life. Withdrawal of insulin usually results in rapid development of diabetic coma. Type 2 diabetes, formerly called non-insulin dependent or adult onset diabetes, accounts for over 80% of cases and usually occurs in adults and older individuals who are overweight. It is strongly inherited, an individual having as much as a 1 in 3 chance of developing some form of the disease if a parent or sibling is diabetic. In type 2 diabetes, the pancreas often makes normal or even supernormal amounts of insulin, but the tissues of the body fail to respond, a state called insulin resistance. Obesity and physical inactivity are two factors which can worsen insulin resistance, and recent evidence suggests that weight loss and physical training can prevent or delay the onset of the disease. While some patients with type 2 diabetes may be treated with insulin to improve glucose control, withdrawal of insulin rarely results in diabetic coma, and over 80% of patients can be adequately treated with aggressive diet and exercise programs alone. Gestational diabetes is the term used to describe the onset of diabetes during the stress of pregnancy. This is associated with serious problems for the newborn baby, including an increased incidence of malformations, which can be avoided with early treatment. The diagnosis of diabetes can usually be made by a simple determination of a fasting blood sugar level. Glucose tolerance tests are rarely necessary for the diagnosis, except in some borderline cases in early pregnancy. Measurement of insulin levels in the blood is expensive and adds little useful information, and glucose in the urine should not by itself be used to diagnose the disease. For more information, you can call the American Diabetes Association at 725-7878.
Hi, I'm Bob Nemser. This is not a message from the President, but Quick Click's tribute to Flag Day, June 14th. To Americans, the American flag is more than a symbol of national sovereignty. To some, it is a reverential icon, a beacon of pride and devotion to country, right or wrong. It is used ceremonially in parades and hoisted on flagpoles at public events to demonstrate patriotism. It cloaks with equal respectability the views of ordinary citizens, demagogues, and super patriots. We sanctify the caskets of our dead presidents and our dead heroes with the American flag. We bury some of our naval dead at sea, the shapes of their body outlined by the stars and stripes. The American flag is many things to many people. To none is it passive. To all, it is a dynamic, emotional piece of fabric that at once reinforces stability and incites instability. Writers write about it, patriots speak about it, homeowners unfurl it on special holidays, rabble-rousers and KKKers hide behind it, artists render it, soldiers raise it in victory and die with it in defeat. The American flag is all things to all people, a witness to the events that have gone to make up the fabric of American history. Those are the words of my friend and colleague, Howard Chapnick, president of Black Star International Photo Agency and international speaker and judge at photographic events. Hats off. Along the street there comes a blare of bugles, a ruffle of drums, A flash of color beneath the sky. Hats off, the flag is passing by Henry Holcomb Bennett. It is my conviction that one of the gravest misjudgments by the professed evaluators of public opinion is their underestimation of the profound, intellectual and emotional, the fervent and the sentimental attachment the average everyday American has for his flag, by Wayne L. Hay. The things that the flag stands for were created by the experiences of a great people. Everything that it stands for was written by their lives. The flag is the embodiment, not of sentiment, but of history. It represents the experiences made by men and women, the experiences of those who do and live under that flag. Woodrow Wilson, Flag Day, June 14, 1915. The flag is a symbol. An attack on it will not end a bad war, overturn an unjust ruling, alter a prejudiced attitude. Since the majority holds the flag to be above politics, to attack it is politically counterproductive. Flag burning may be offensive, but protecting the flag as a physical object does nothing to protect the principles that flag represents. Symbols are mutable. Over time, our flag has stood for war as well as peace, slavery as well as freedom, authoritarian rule as well as democracy, civil strife as well as harmony. Yet its meaning today and in the future depends on us, not on the past. That was by Dr. Whitney Smith, Director of the Flag Heritage Foundation in Lexington, Mass. Thank you for joining me on our tribute to Flag Day. See you soon and keep clicking.
Hello, and welcome to Consumer Aware. I'm Adrienne Eisner, Director of the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. Today we're going to be talking about car rental agencies. If you need to rent a car, here is some important information to keep in mind when dealing with the rental agency. When you arrive at the rental counter, you are usually asked whether you want the optional collision damage waiver, also known as CDW, for $6 to $8 a day additional. It is explained that the waiver acts like insurance, so that you will not be held responsible for damages in case of an accident. Before you sign, did you consider that you might be purchasing coverage you already have and calculate that your low weekly rate could more than double with this additional payment? Before you rent, here is some advice to follow. Check your personal auto insurance policy. It may include a provision for rental cars. If you are not sure about this, call your insurance agent. If you are renting for business travel, ask what your employer's policy is toward the purchase of CDW. Many employers will tell their employees not to buy CDW and will absorb the cost of any damage as the result of an accident. When comparing rent-a-car rates, consider the optional daily CDW rate as well as the daily or weekly basic car rental rate. Should you refuse the waiver, ask the rental agent what the deductible is on the car in case of an accident. Some rental companies hold you responsible for the entire value of the car, while others may hold you responsible for the first $3,000 in damage. This deductible may be covered by your own auto insurance policy. So the important thing is that you should check out all the pertinent information. In that way, you can be sure that you are being appropriately covered in case of an accident with the rental car without making unnecessary payments. If you have any further questions, please call us at the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. The telephone number is 390-6954. We're in the office in the municipal building Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Thank you for joining me on Consumer Aware. See you again next week.
At this week's Township Council meeting, the Council agreed to start litigation procedures against out-of-county garbage coming to the Edgeboro landfill. This came as a result of a request made by Township Attorney Bertram Bush. The Council authorized Bush to file a petition that is required by the state Supreme Court no later than Friday, June 13th. The Council will pass resolutions affirming this action at a future Council meeting. The environmental suit is intended to keep the pressure on by blocking the out-of-county garbage entering the landfill under the Environmental Protection Act. At present, the landfill cannot handle the huge volume of garbage that it receives each day, in compliance with county health and state environmental requirements. Also at this meeting, the Council discussed some possible solutions to a proposed property maintenance program targeted for Route 18 between Edgeboro Road and McGuire Street. Council members viewed several photographs that depicted heavy dirt buildup on Route 18 just north of Edgeboro Road. Councilman John Runyon pointed out that a lot of this dirt is the result of trucks that dump at Edgeboro that don't use the wheel wash. Township Finance Director Lou Neely suggested that the wash be operated every day and not only when it rains. That's all for this week. Thanks for watching.